And then he said, "What? No way!"
Yes, exactly that. It was hilarious. Honestly, the best part of the night.
Again?
Happy anniversary, my love. I got you the blender, but I also wanted to remind you how special you are.
Your husband is my bestie, so I'll never leave him alone. I was not the main person in my own marriage. My husband loved his female best friend more than he loved me. He got her flowers that said, "You're the only woman who gets me," diamonds, and a new iPhone for Valentine's Day. I didn't do anything after he bought me a blender. I was quiet. I went along with everything until he made a choice that destroyed my life. Before I share my story, please like and follow so you never miss a video. And let us know where you're watching from in the comments. I'd like to know where in the world my story has been read. Take it easy and watch the movie now. Anyone who was far away and looked at the wedding would have thought it was going just as it should, but they'd be wrong. The bride stood by herself with her hands folded, watching her husband dance with a woman in white who wasn't her. He was having a dance with his girl best friend. We need to go back to understand how a bride could stand by herself at her wedding and see another woman dance with her husband like they were married. If anyone passes you quietly, their life doesn't get ruined, was something Emily's friends often said, because that was her true self. Quiet, weak, and non-confrontational. She is too soft. She knew they were going to shout. She would be upset if she went to a restaurant and paid for turkey and jollof rice, but got pounded yam and agouti instead. She'd stay at the plate for a bit, then give a shrug and think, "I haven't eaten this in a long time." At work, Emily just smiled and took it when her coworkers gave her extra work or blamed her for mistakes that were hers. She remained there until late, helped with boarding, and didn't say a word. She had learned to avoid saying anything that would lead to strife. Her mother gave her that training. She was told that a good woman should be quiet, soft, and weak, particularly when married. Her mother thought that marriage was a sign of success for a woman. So, when John proposed to Emily, her mother was very happy. No matter what, she told her, do what you can to keep him. So, when Emily entered the relationship and saw that she was with John and Megan, she kept quiet. As always, Emily was there to avoid conflict. John was a top manager at an oil company in his early 30s. He was good at his job, but he didn't care about other people's feelings. He liked having two women look up to him and enjoyed how different Emily, the shy wife, and Megan, the lively friend, were from each other. He always told Emily she was the one he loved, but how he acted around Megan showed something else. Megan, who is famed, had met John around the same time that Emily did. John's choice was obvious to everyone. It had to be her. Megan was a great match for his personality. Bold, loud, and thrilling. His friends were shocked when he picked Emily instead of Emily, but they would joke about Megan being the real wife and Emily just the backup actor in a very long Nigerian rom-com. If marriage with two people is hard, think about how hard it would be with three. This was especially true because the person being treated like a wife wasn't even married in the eyes of the law. Megan always had a reason to be there. On dinner dates, she would happen to be at the same place and sit next to John. On Sundays at home, she'd show up looking bored and wanting to be with someone. John was coming home from a long trip, and Megan would be there to pick him up because she missed her friend. John got Megan a new iPhone, diamonds, and flowers with a card that said, "To the only woman who understands me." On Valentine's Day, he bought Emily a blender. John just laughed and said she wasn't selfish when she called him out on it. Also, she was always saying they needed a blender. During all of this, Emily was watching. She was slowly dying inside, but she didn't say anything. Megan would also make inappropriate jokes about things Emily wasn't supposed to hear, like it was nothing. "John, marriage has made you more calm and reasonable. This place would never be this quiet if I lived here. And I don't mean just having a conversation or laughing." Emily's stomach would turn and she'd look at John, thinking he would make it stop. But he would just laugh. He would say, "Don't worry, babe. She is just kidding." Not even Megan's jokes were the most hurtful. John laughed and made excuses. He always said it was harmless, and Emily shouldn't take it seriously. Emily kept suffering in silence, weighed down by a marriage where she had no say. She wasn't aware that all periods of silence will come to an end, and soon she would have to say all the things she had been keeping inside. By that point, it could already be too late. John and Emily had a special day. Before that day, John was always busy and unavailable at home. Just like always, Emily didn't say anything. She chose to do something special for the day by herself. That morning, John just sent a basic happy anniversary text, but Emily saw it as enough. She planned a dinner by candlelight and cooked foods she knew he would love. She set the table carefully and hoped that the night would bring them back together. Her hope went away right away when the door opened. John walked in with Megan next to him, their arms linked in a relaxed way, as if she belonged there. John saw how Emily was looking and hurried to give her a reason. He said that they ran into each other on the way, and that Megan, his mom, was there, and she was trying to stay away from her. He also said that he thought it would be fine if she just had dinner with them. Megan was happy. Emily felt no rise in her throat, but she nodded and said yes, so she swallowed it. John took a quick look at the table and saw the candles for the first time. "Oh, did you have a plan?" Emily was shocked as she looked at him. "Yes," she said, but not loudly. "Today is our anniversary. I wanted to have a nice dinner with us." Megan said, "How cute," looking down on the person. "I hope there is enough food for 3 people." She walked over and took the chair next to John, patted it on purpose, and looked Emily in the eye. John laughed, not having any idea what was going on, and said that he would take a quick shower before they ate. "Would you like someone to keep you company?" Megan asked, in a casual way. Everyone in the room became quiet. "What is it?" she added, shrugging. "It's not new to me." Emily tried to talk, but John cut her off before she could finish her statement. "Emily, I'm just kidding. You know Megan?" He jokingly pushed Megan, and then walked off. Emily was the only one who seemed to own the silence when they finally ate. John and Megan laughed and joked about things she wasn't there for. Every laugh hurt her more and more. Even so, she didn't say anything. After that, Megan smiled at her. She said cutely, "The food is nice. I can see you tried to make John happy, but you should ask me for my recipe next time. This asin is a little boring. John likes my better, right?" John wasn't sure, but then he shrugged. "I mean," he said, "yours is better." And then he looked at Emily. "I don't mean to be rude," Emily said, "maybe you shouldn't have gone to a dinner you weren't asked to. If you don't like the food." Megan let out a laugh. "Emily is so gentle, wow. You have finally learned how to speak up." Emily, shaking hands and all, said, "I only wanted one night with my husband, by oneself." Emily was yelled at by John. "Why are you being such a jealous child? On our anniversary, you brought a different woman into our home. What did you think my feelings would be?" John just sneered. "Oh, please, you behave as if you are a saint. In the meantime, every time I come to get you, your coworkers are smiling at you. Are you really doing this right now?" Emily said, disbelief filling her voice. Megan watched with a smile on her face as she looked into her glass. "You act as if a flawless innocent victim is to blame. People think I'm the villain because you are constantly sullen and silent." Megan stepped in, and her voice dripped with fake worry. "Take it easy, John. It's not a big deal." "No," he yelled, hitting his fist on the table. Emily was scared. She was afraid of this. Chaos, blame, and conflict. She quickly tried to calm him down by apologizing and begging him to calm down, even though she didn't know why he was upset. John suddenly said, "I need to leave." He was packing a small bag while Emily followed him, crying and begging him not to go. He ignored her. He broke her into a million pieces with the 3 words he said when he walked back into the dining room. "Let's go, Megan." Megan's surprise turned into a smile right away. She looked at Emily, but it wasn't personal. Emily, confused and desperate, ran after them outside. John said she had ruined the night, that he wasn't asking for a divorce, and that he needed room. Megan then calmed him down. He got in the car with Megan next to him. Emily's last view as they drove off was Megan's arm over John's shoulder and Megan's smiling face, pleased and evil. Emily was home by herself for 3 days straight. During that time, she called John over and over again. He never answered. Initially, she was mad. Then worry took the place of anger. Since he left, she hasn't eaten a lot. That might be why she was dizzy, or at least that's what she thought. Everything in the room was moving around. Her knees gave out. She passed out. A nearby person saw her fall and quickly took her to the hospital. Emily woke up with a headache in bright lights. A doctor stood next to her bed, calm and comforting. He said she had passed out from being stressed and tired, which is something that happens a lot in the early stages of pregnancy. Everything came to a halt when they said the word, "I'm going to have a baby." Emily made a sound, but it was too quiet to be heard. The doctor nodded their head. She was 3 weeks pregnant. Everything was okay with the baby, Emily held her gut as if it was the last thing in the world that was solid. The house felt different and heavy when they got home. John's child was growing in her, and he was totally unaware of it. Now, more than ever, she needed to get in touch with him. There was no answer, even after she called multiple times. While she was doing something else, John was at a hotel across town with Megan, drinking and laughing together. John's phone was buzzing nonstop on the table, but they didn't notice because they were having fun. He groaned and said that Emily wouldn't leave him alone when it rang again. Megan stopped Emily's number. After asking for the phone, Megan didn't think it was a big deal, but John looked like he wasn't sure what to do. Emily had to be cut off if he wanted to think clearly. John agreed after a short while. They sealed the choice that would keep him in the dark about the baby in his wife's womb by clinking glasses. Emily's fear grew stronger when she got home. She called his family and friends. Nobody knew his location. She lost control of her thoughts. What if he had gotten hurt or something? Emily was in a panic, thinking things were really bad, but John was drinking Martell with Megan on a beach in Lagos. Finally, in a fit of desperation, she asked John's friend for Megan's number. Megan was the one who answered. Emily begged to talk to John. He didn't want to talk, Megan said. Emily told him what he needed to know because it was important, not because she wanted to. Megan stopped. After that, she suggested a way to fix the problem. John was going to their special spot, a quiet lake reserve, later that day. Emily could show up early and catch him off guard. They could meet up and talk. She only had one choice, even though it felt wrong. Emily said yes. The call ended before she could ask to talk to John. She realized she had been blocked when she tried to call back. It was dark when Emily got to the reserve. The forest was dark and dense, and a calm lake that only showed shadows divided it in the middle. While she was in her car, she saw Megan standing by the water and waving, as if they were at a nice get-together instead of having the worst night of her life. She felt a tightness in her chest. Before she went outside, Emily tried to text John one more time. John, I know it's been a long time since we talked. I feel bad about what happened, but I have something important to say to you. I'm going to have a baby. Call me when you get this. The message sent, much to her surprise. He had made his WhatsApp picture public again. 2 gray ticks showed up, but then they turned blue. She was patient. Not a thing. She attempted to call. The call right away failed. Can't do it. Once more. Emily took a deep breath. After that, how could he block her? She walked to Megan, after locking the car. John is already here, Megan said calmly, on the other side of the lake. Emily stopped moving. You told us that we would arrive before him. I know, Megan answered, but he came earlier than I thought he would. Emily felt uncomfortable about how she said it. Why don't you just call him and tell him to come over? Emily made a request. Megan let out a sigh. My phone is dead. We have to take the boat. It's the only thing that will get me to the other side. Emily looked intently at the water. She was tired and desperate, even though her body was telling her this was wrong. After getting into the boat, they started to row across the lake. The air was thick, and the water was still. Megan stopped paddling when they were halfway across. He loves me. You know that, right? She said it in a laid-back way. Emily made a frown. What is it? Megan faced her. John, he loves me, and not you. Emily let out a single, sharp laugh, full of disbelief. What? Megan went on. He picked you because you were gentle and calm, and because he knew he could manage you. You would have made a good wife. But he really wants me. That's how I've always been. She was stared at by Emily. So why didn't he marry you? Megan smiled, but it wasn't a nice smile. He knew I wouldn't put up with half the things you do. Emily felt a break inside of her. So you were just going to wait for a man who didn't pick you the first time. That makes me sad. Megan's smile went away. She wasn't as sad as marrying a man who loves another woman. Emily said, he's married to me. He wouldn't be if he really loved you. Megan moved in closer. He has pity for you. That's it. You are just here to fill space. Emily did not agree. No one will care about this chat. I only want to talk to John. Megan let out a laugh. John still isn't here. Emily's heart sank. What is it? Megan said coolly. I lied. I only wanted you to hear the truth before it was all over. I am finished acting like your female best friend. I want what was meant to be mine from the beginning. Emily whispered. You lured me out here. Yeah. Emily was filled with anger. Now I understand why he didn't want to marry you. You're nuts. That was all there was to it. Megan made a move. Are you angry? As they fought, Emily yelled. You will tip the boat. Emily screamed. Let go of me. The boat rocked a lot. Then it turned to Emily was swallowed by cold water. She came up, gasping, fear tearing through her body. The water was very deep. She was trying to keep her head above water, so she kicked frantically. No, not my baby, she thought. Megan was having a hard time as well, yelling for help. At that moment, headlights could be seen far away. Hey, John! Both of them screamed. John got out of his car and walked to the water. He didn't wait when he saw them. He jumped in. Emily felt relief for a short, silly moment. Then, she saw him swim by. He went directly to Megan. John, no. Emily was crying and coughing because she was choking on water. John got to Megan, picked her up and swam her back to the shore. He laid her down while holding her face. Are you all right? Are you able to breathe? He asked in a hurry. Megan nodded and coughed. Emily had not left the water yet. Hey John, she screamed, now too weak. Megan's head turned. There is still Emily. At last, John turned his gaze back, but Emily was too weak. She was in pain in her arms. She lost sight. She had one last fight, and it was for more than just her own life. It was for the life inside her as well. Then there was nothing. John and Megan sat next to each other in the hospital waiting room, bowed heads. Megan's fingers were intertwined with his, making her feel more grounded than he was. John stood up right away when the doctor finally came over. Megan got up with him, holding his hand more tightly. The doctor said that she was awake. John felt a rush of relief that made him dizzy. But then he saw that the doctor looked sad. He felt a sinking feeling in his stomach. The doctor went on to say that she was safe, but the baby died. The words felt like they had hit him. John whispered, the baby. She was very big. He meant to keep it in his head. For a short moment, the doctor looked at him without giving away anything. Then she left. John let go of Megan's hand and began to walk toward the hallway. Megan told John to wait. You don't want me to go with you, do you? He quietly said no without turning back around. Simply go home. Emily was lying in a hospital bed and looking blankly. She wasn't there, even though she was awake. It seemed like everything had gone wrong for her in just one night. She felt stuck in the disaster, not knowing how to deal with the loss. John walked in and stood next to her bed without her noticing. The air changed. It was thick and hard to breathe in. John said quietly, Emily, I have no words. I feel bad. I thought you said you were pregnant, so we'd talk again. I thought you were joking. She didn't blink or look at him. He sat. Please, have a conversation with me. No noise. John slid off the bed and got down on his knees next to it. Please, Emily, call me stupid, yell at me, or insult me, because I feel like a total idiot right now. Say anything. At last, she talked. We're getting a divorce after I get out of this bed. She sounded flat, without feelings. There is no quake. John jumped up. No, please don't. We are not able to get a divorce. I apologize for what happened tonight. Emily interrupted him. She was calm, but her voice was cold. This isn't about tonight, John. This is about all things. Ever since I said I do, this marriage has been a way for them to humiliate me. You always made it clear that I wasn't your first choice. I might not be a big fan of Megan, but she was right about one thing today. You thought you could control me, so you married me. Emily, speaking, lifted a weight even though she was tired from last night. She spoke the truth she had been keeping inside for the first time. I can't even blame you for what happened tonight, she went on gently, because I understand how hard the decision was. But the second woman you saved was pregnant with your baby. That baby would still be living if you had rescued me earlier. But I won't hold you responsible. You saved me, so I should be grateful. Also, I share some blame in this terrible marriage. I let you disrespect me, without saying a word this whole time. I let it happen. John's face turned sad. I promise I didn't know she was pregnant. Also, I didn't sleep with Megan when I left on our anniversary. I will never. Emily's laugh, which was bitter, interrupted him. You would never do that. But you did all the other things. For years, you have been mentally unfaithful to me. You always picked Megan. Now, I get why there was a fight at dinner. You made a scene so you could go off with Megan. I felt like it was my fault because of you. But you can't push me anymore. I lost more than our baby tonight. I lost who I used to be. John's voice was shaky. I love you, please. Emily held her hand up. You don't love them. You feel guilty. We're getting divorced. There is no changing it now. I'm finished. The words hit him harder than anything else she had said before. He stood there, shocked, with a clear view of how angry she was. Emily had changed, and he could no longer push her around. Nothing could shake her. Finally, he stepped away after bowing his head, the weight of loss pushing on him. Emily went to a hotel after leaving the hospital. She couldn't stand seeing anyone. She needed to be quiet. She needed space to cry. She had lost a baby, and the life she had thought she would live, and the woman she had been while she was married. She made a vow while she was alone. She would never again stay quiet, to keep the peace. Not long after, the couple got a split. There were no big court appearances, and it was quiet. The only thing happening was the sending of papers back and forth. At first, John tried to make things difficult with delays and excuses, but he finally agreed when he saw that Emily would not give in. Emily went to see her mom only after everything was done. That moment was very important. Emily's mother had always thought that Emily's marriage to John was important, but Emily was no longer living for other people. "We're divorced," she said, making it clear. Emily's mother reacted as she thought she would, with shock, anger, and disbelief. But then Emily told her everything about Megan, about the neglect, about being picked last over and over again, and about how that last choice had cost her the child. Mom had a breakdown. Before that, she had no idea. She told Emily the truth. She would need time to process everything. She then hugged her daughter tightly and told her that she loved her, with or without a husband. Little by little, Emily started to get her voice back. She pushed back when people at work tried to give her extra duties or blame her for mistakes that weren't her fault. "I didn't do that. That's not part of my job. I don't get extra pay for this." Everyone was shocked. Some people were annoyed. Other people were quietly impressed. Someone said that Emily is getting wings. All she did was smile. John's life went the other way. After it was all done, he finally felt the full burden of what he had done. He had taken advantage of Emily's quietness and disrespected his marriage over and over again. One choice had changed everything forever. In this case, Megan didn't talk anymore after the hospital. Until he changed his number, she tried to get in touch with him over and over again. The house felt off and empty, but he couldn't bring himself to leave. Emily's spirit was only still there. He understood the irony. He didn't really know what he had until he lost her. Years went by. Emily bloomed. She gained confidence and became vocal and self-aware. She and some friends started an organization to help women who have lost pregnancies. It was a place for women to grieve without shame and heal without having to stay quiet. She saw him at the foundation's charity ball one evening. Emily felt nothing when their eyes met from across the room. There is no pain, anger, longing, or sorrow. John had lost her, and when he looked at her, he saw her. Emily viewed him as something from the past. He was crushed when she walked by without looking at him. Thanks a lot for watching. What can you take away from this story? If you want to let me know, do it in the comments below. Also, remember to follow and like. We are still the Rhythm African Legends, and we will always bring you the most exciting current and ancient African folktales.